Now with social media, you can, dude, I know barbers that they build it up in like 2 years. They're already making $6,000 a month. Like, barely, like, starting out. Now, that's not everybody's. Don't get discouraged if that's not your experience. The point is focus on the principles, focus on the KPIs, and you will grow. So, customer service all the way through. All the way through. That's what delivered this to a 64. This right here. Don't just focus on the actual service, focus on communication, speak words out. So that, because the question he asks is, how do you keep a client? How do you keep clients coming back? That is how. Showing appreciation, communicating. That is how you keep clients. And also, don't get me wrong, if I suck at cutting hair or if that shave was horrible and I cut this guy up, he ain't coming back. Like, for sure, service matters. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is we've placed too much importance on the ability to do a clean fade and a lineup or a beard trim than we do on communicating. Let me give you an example. When I went to Spectrum, which is over there off of West and Herndon, okay? This is a high-end shop. I was working next to a lady who did a haircut on a guy. She's a cosmetologist working there, and I'm a barber, and I'm working in the salon area, not the barbershop area at this time because they didn't have it fully open. Her client paid her $50 for a haircut. My client paid me $25. I was like, what the? My haircut was way better. Like, his was choppy. It wasn't even clean. You know what I'm talking about, right? You guys have seen certain cuts, and you're like, oh, bro, what is that? Like, you're like, yeah, okay, so you know what I'm saying? But that guy came back in 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Paid her another $50, and I got paid another $25. So I asked, what is the difference? What makes the difference in why I'm sitting here, she is sitting there, and she's charging $50 for the same cut at worse quality than I'm charging at a better quality of cut? It's the customer service. And it happened around in the 80s where the cosmetology sort of broke off from like barbering in a sense. Obviously, we've always been separate, but where they really shot up in their tickets. A lot of people think, oh, because they dye hair, it takes long. Yes. But that's not the only aspect. The other aspect is they learned how to communicate with their clients. They learned how to actually run a business. A lot of people, they're not running a business. They're treating it like a freaking hobby. You're just disrespecting the industry when you treat it like a hobby. If you ain't really trying to make it, you're not going to compete with people like me. You're not going to compete with people that you guys look up to. You're just not. But if you're okay with that, then that's fine. Now, everybody has the ability to. Each one of you can be like six-figure barbers for sure. Guaranteed. Why? Because you're a human being. And if any human being did it, you can do it. This is nothing spectacular. This is nothing amazing. This will be average. Soon it will be average if we pick up the ability to communicate and increase our customer service. Because we're already killing it with the service game. I'm pretty sure if you guys show me your pages, you guys are all doing pretty clean cuts, pretty clean work. Like, you're already at a level 8, at least. I'm almost sure. Even if you're not, give it another 2 months, 3 months. If you really focus on it, you'll be there for sure. It's just not that hard. There's so many tutorials, there's so many videos, there's so many courses you can take. It's like ridiculous. You guys probably, some of you probably even want to be educators. Some of you don't, but some of you do. I don't really want to be an educator. I'm not here to educate because I have a desire. I'm here because he reached out and was like, bro, I think I like your stuff, so here you go. So then I was like, well, yeah, let's do it. But I don't want to be an educator. I'm not like I want to be a platform artist. Bro, I want to take care of my family. I want to build a good business here. I want to grow old with my clients. I want to go on vacation about once or twice a year. I want to have kids. I'm a simple man. Like, this is it. This is what I want to do. And I want to do it at the highest level, here. That's my goals, period. That's what it is. So, you guys have to figure out what you want to be and who you want to be. And there's resources out there. Have you guys ever heard of Tomb 45? Yeah. Okay, that guy is a savage. Follow that guy. He's leading the industry in what I'm talking about here. That guy is a man. That guy, he's figuring it out for sure. For sure. So if you guys can hop on his program, he has a program. I'm not here to sell you any programs, okay? But if you can hop on his program, he has a mentorship program. He has certain other programs, lower levels. Join it. Start investing in your career. Start investing in yourself. That's where a percentage of your income should be invested in personal development in the industry. Last year, I spent like $8,000 on personal development. Some people will be like, what the heck? But it's worth it. You guys see I'm making 6 figures. I just showed you. That was last year's total, 6 figures. I made like 110. Some of the cash was, so I made a little bit more than 110, but I made 110 on the books. So, do you see what I'm saying? And none of you even know who I am. I bet none of you even knew who I was before I even walked in here. Did anybody know me? Nobody knew me. And I'm making it happen here in Fresno, California. I'm making it happen. There's people like me everywhere in this city that just decided I'm going to seek to be the best I can be in this industry. Not comparing to me or you. I don't care if you're better than me per se, but I care, am I getting better? Am I growing? Am I increasing? But how are you going to know if you're never monitoring anything that you do? Go ahead.
I have another question. When you first got licensed, did you go straight to a booth rent shop? Did you go to a shop kind of like Supercuts or?
So let me tell you about my story. So, let me tell you this story because this may happen to some of you guys. Okay, I used to go to this, you guys know this, I'm going to put him on blast. His name is Felix. You guys know Felix? He used to own 609 Barbershop Tower. You guys are probably too young.
Yeah.
How old are you?
19.
How old are you? 18? How old are you?
19.
30? Okay, so you know who I'm talking about though, right? Okay, this guy, he was my barber in high school when I could go. All right? Now, I told him I'm going to school. I'm going to barber school. Would you give me a job? He's like, yeah, I'll give you a job. I'm midway through. Hey, I'm almost done. I'm at the end. Hey, I put my state boards in. We're communicating. I got my license. Dude, I gave this dude a portfolio, bro. Old school portfolio. I printed out pictures. Put them in these little folders, bro. Like, you see what I'm saying here? Put them in these folders. Went to his barbershop in Tower District, handed it to the guy, one of the guys there because he wasn't there, because the guy's not picking up my phone or nothing. Gave it to him. Ghosted me, bro. Ghosted me. Ghosted me. I was pissed. I was like, what the? How the hell? You told me. So, then I went and I got a list of all the barbershops that I wanted to kind of work at. It was like a big list. And I called them. Nobody wants to freaking hire me. Obviously, I'm out of school. I really don't have too much. I don't have no clients, nothing. So nobody wants to take a risk on me. So then I went back to the school and I asked DK. I said, do you know anybody hiring? And he told me about this guy named Caesar at Fresno's Illest. It was over there off of Ashland and Clovis. So I went over there. He hired me. It was booth rental. I've only been booth rental. I've always been an independent contractor. I've never been an employee of anything, of any person. I'm not saying that's bad, though. I'm not saying it's bad. But for me, I've never been that. So I've always been booth rental. And that's just the way I've done it. You got to learn your money, though. You got to learn budgeting. You got to learn budget finance. If you guys don't, when you grow up poor like I did, your parents don't know how to save money. They don't know. They just don't. You can't fault them. They're just what it is. So I had to learn budget finance. I had to learn where does my money go. So I have a retirement plan. I have insurance. I budget my money. I mean, you can learn all of that. You can do it as a barber. Like, as a barber, you guys can do this. It takes work, though. It takes work. Takes a lot of, personal will. But that was my experience. So I've only worked at shops as booth rental at every level.
When you first got into the shop, you didn't have that many clients either?
No clients. Bro, I was sitting in the shop. I used to tell my wife, I've been married for 11 years. December 13th will be 12. Okay. I used to tell her, babe, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I was sitting in that shop. I do one haircut, 10 hours. Smoking weed, playing pool. We had a pool table. I'm chilling, but I'm not making no money. I got one client, one walk-in, 2 walk-ins. Now, this is also a little bit of my story is I've been to rehab, recovery program twice, so I'm not advising any drugs or anything, but like, I'm a real person. Like, I've been through real stuff. I'm a real person like every one of you guys. You guys got problems, you have family issues, whatever. But I used to be like, babe, I don't know if we're going to make it. But now you got to remember, when I started barber school, I did it because I didn't think I could do anything else, right? Because I'm dyslexic, so I couldn't read or write. What are you going to do without reading or writing? Tell me, what job?
Just like hard labor.
Hard labor, but I don't want to be outside. I'm Mexican, but, I'm trying to be inside. Like, I want to be inside. So there was no option. So in my mind, I said, I'm going to succeed. Like, it doesn't matter. So I just stayed there 10 hours a day. And then I worked a night job. I was a night auditor at a hotel. My wife got me the job. She, bless her. I would have been fired so many times from that job. But you got to have a good partner is key in success for sure. Anyways, I'm not going to go down that road. So it took me and I have the numbers. I used to write them down, like on a piece of paper, like how much I made that day, how much I made that week, how much I made that month, and so on. It was nothing. I made I don't even know, but it was chump change. It was like nothing. But it took about a year, 2 years, because location matters. It doesn't. Back then it mattered more because social media wasn't as popping, but now it doesn't matter as much, but it does in some sense. Because I know some barbers in certain shops that you would consider not too good in a sense, but demographic-wise, but they're making it. Like, they're pulling in high numbers for sure. Go ahead.
Real quick, because I'm going to get going. Can you explain the difference between what's a good barber and what's a great barber, and how education plays a good role into that? Because I feel like that's kind of like what sets those two differences.
Okay.
So,
all right. Question.
Yeah.
What makes a good barber? What makes a great barber? And education. What role does education play in that? That's a great question. That's why you're the man, Jay. That's why you're the man. This guy right here, he's been with me from the beginning. So, what makes a good barber? A good barber, he's average. He shows up. He gets in an environment that's busy. He does his work. Not 100%, but he gets it done. He skates by, right? That's the average barber. He makes enough to pay his bills. And once he's able to pay his bills, he doesn't seek for any more growth. He doesn't seek to be better. He doesn't seek to maximize his potential. This is one of the things as humans, that every other life form strives to its fullest potential. For instance, how tall will a tree grow? As tall as it can. Humans are the only creature that will not grow to its fullest potential. And why? Because we have free will. We have the ability to choose. We have the ability to decide. Are we going to do our best or not? So, the person who decides to do his best 50% of the time, he will be good. He will be okay. We live in America. This is America. Like, bums live good out here. So, we're going to do okay. Now, if you're cool with being average, well, then you be average. That's an average barber. If you want to be great, if you want to be the best, that you can be. I'm not saying compared. When I say that, I'm not comparing it to another person. You're comparing it to yourself. Like, are you better today than you were yesterday? That means you allocate a percentage of your income. I allocate a percentage of my income to personal development. It's just non-negotiable. Winners spend money on their personal development. What does that mean? Books, podcasts, seminars, classes, tools. That is what I'm talking about. Winners, top-level barbers spend money in that category. If you don't even have a budget, you're not even in the game. You're not in the game. It just is what it is. People who know what I'm saying, they feel me. So, A top high-level barber allocates a percentage of their income to their personal development. The other thing is, they're able to monitor their emotions. They're able to work in an environment where they are not controlled by the environment there. They control their own emotions, their own mentality, their own. Now, they are affected. It's not as though we live in a vacuum and people don't affect you, but that does not determine your response to a situation. Does that make sense? This is high level. This is high level. This is what makes a great barber from a good barber. And you know the good barbers, they're good. But you know the great barbers, that guy, he's on time. He shows up. He's the first in, he's the last out. He's always clean. He's always professional. He never complains. He never leaves room for people. You know, one of the indicators of when you know you've come from childhood to adulthood is when you take full responsibility for everything that happens to you. This is what men and women do. You take full responsibility to everything that happens to you. This is how you know you are mature. Now, are you responsible for everything that happens in the shop? No. But when I say you take full responsibility, if somebody's stealing your stuff, messing with your stuff, poaching on your clients, bad-mouthing you, whatever, you're able to handle that situation in a mature and say, what could I do to change this situation? What can I do to set barriers so that way this doesn't happen around me? What can I do to help the situation? This is what separates the goods from the greats. This is what it is.
All right, last thing, and then I'll get going. So, like, trying to tie this all back into, like, why we're here.
So why we're here?
Yeah.
The shave. I am hired to teach you guys the shave. Okay?
No, hold on. Let me retract. So it's basically like, you know, you told them that education kind of separates that line. So it's like, you know, that's what you guys are learning here is like how to be that next level, how to take it to that next.
I'm getting there.
All right.
Okay, I'm hired to teach you guys the classic straight edge shave. That's what I hope I've done. I'm hoping you guys have learned. This, right now you guys are doing this because you're in school, right? Now, those of you that continue to do this outside of school where it's not a requirement, those are the ones who will succeed in this industry. Those are the ones who will make six figures. Those are the ones who will be able to buy their wife a car, buy your own house, set a retirement plan. Those are the ones who can do things financially for their family that they couldn't do in any other circumstances. Those are the ones that can build a high clientele. Those are the ones. Education. Continue education. Never stop learning. Never stop growing. If you are breathing, you can still grow. If you're not breathing, you're dead. Well, that's it. The sum total of your whole life is there. But if you are breathing and you are still alive and you guys are in your 30s, it doesn't matter. You can still change. The next 5 years doesn't have to be like the last 5 years. It can be different by the choices. Remember I talked about the Pareto principle, the 80-20, right? The 20-80, right? The actions. You can change your actions, which change your attitude, which change your results, which change your life, which changes your mindset, and it just circulates. That's how it works. That's why. That's what I would say to that question of why you should continue education, why it's important. If that don't inspire you to do it, I don't know what does. You're dead. You're just not going to make it. In this room, only 20% are going to make it. It is what it is. Like, it's a fact of life. Who it is, I don't know. I'm not judging based off of the way you look, where you come from, nothing. It's all in your approach to life. It's all in your philosophy. It's all in the amount of energy that you give to your job, your career, what you do. But this is the game. This is what it is.